It's Wednesday, the 2nd of February 2011, and this is Photo Walkthrough episode number 140, Tutorial 21, Chapter 3. Hello and welcome back to Photo Walkthrough. I've got exciting news this week. For those of you that have asked me over the last few years while I've been doing the show if you could download clean copies, HD copies or DVD copies of Photo Walkthrough tutorials, I have finally got the answer for you. I have added to the tutorial pages on the last 5 tutorials, I think, some buy buttons which allow you for just a couple of pounds, couple of dollars, pay more if you'd like to, but they're just there as a way of keep downloading clean HD copies of the video tutorials. They've got no ads in them, they've got no unnecessary talking, it's just the tutorial in HD format for you to download and watch as much as you like. So that's available for those of you that want to collect the tutorials. I'm going to go back and do HD versions of the earlier tutorials as well, but most important ones were the last 5 or so tutorials, so I started with those. I hope you'll regard that as a nice thing to collect, or if you want to give Photo Walkthrough some money because you found it useful over the years, it's another great way to give us a little bit of money as well. You can, when you're paying for them, just go for the suggested value, or you can type in your own value if you want to pay a little bit more. That's entirely up to you. Okay, let's get started with today's tutorial. This is tutorial 21, chapter 3. The next thing I'd like to do is just sort out a problem I see down here at the bottom. This is a little bit murky here, and what I'm going to do to fix that is I'm going to just do a little bit of dodging, and in this case actually burning. So I've made a new layer by clicking the new layer icon, and I'm going to set this to soft light. This is our standard dodge and burn layer, and I'm going to grab a brush and I'm going to press the X key to swap my black and white colours over here so that white is selected, and with a very low opacity, so I'm going to set my opacity down to 20%. Let's start with 20%. And I'm going to just paint a little bit of lightning in the middle there, just to give that foreground a little bit of visibility. I want my eyes to travel between the foreground and the background. I want it to sort of move around in this part of the image, and it's not going to travel there if this middle area here is sort of murky and dark. So I am just going to paint a little bit of light in there. I am then going to just back it off just a shade until it feels about right. And then another step, I would like to just keep our eyes in the shot. We've got a dark corner here, which is not bad, not quite so dark down here. I'm going to add a little bit of corner darkening by adding a curves adjustment layer, and I'm going to set the blending mode on that to overlay, and I'm going to use the layer mask again to control where that effect happens. So in this case again I want to fill that layer mask with black, so Command and Delete, or Command and Backspace, Control and Delete on the PC. And what that does, by the way, is fill with the background colour. So in this case black happens to be my black background colour. So you need, if these were the other way around, you wouldn't use the Control key, you would use the Alt key or the Option key. And I'm going to paint that effect into the bottom corner again with a very gentle brush. A 20% brush is a pretty good start, and I'm just going to paint a little bit in that corner and just layer it in until it looks about even on both sides. Just let that little bit of edge darkening keep our eyes in, and also boost that contrast in the image there. So that's, if I turn that on and off, that's probably a little bit strong. We'll back that off a little bit and to say there, that's not bad. So if I turn that layer on and off, you can see what that's just doing. It's just adding a little bit of contrast again, a little bit more gradient, keep the eye in the part of the image that we really want it to focus on. Now I've got one final step that I'd like to do. This is going to be a controversial step, but I'm going to do it anyway because I like controversy, and I think it's hard to use the filter I'm about to use well. So I'm going to use it, and hopefully you'll agree with me that in this case it really adds something to the image. So what I've done is I've made a new layer. I've just hit the new layer icon. It's given us a blank layer there, and I'm going to fill that layer with black. Now this is a way of using, so I'm going to fill it with black just the way I did with the layer mask a moment ago. I'm going to press Command and Delete, and you can see that's giving us a completely black layer, which is obscuring everything below it now. And what I'm about to show you is a way of doing a filter, in this case a lens flare filter, without rendering it onto your actual image. One of the problems with these filters is that they work on pixels, and as you know, I like these edits to be non-destructive. So for something like a filter, it's very hard to work in a non-destructive way. Well, it happens with the lens flare filter, at least, that we can do what we're trying to do without damaging any of the pixels in the image. So you can see here, this is the lens flare filter. We've got a variety of different lenses that we can emulate. In our case, I think the 50 to 300 zoom is the sort of effect I'm after. I do, however, want it a bit brighter than that. So I'm going to just push the brightness up a little bit, and you can move where this effect occurs by clicking and dragging the little plus. And in my case, what I'd like is for the light to travel sort of diagonally through the image. And what I want to do is, I'm going to fake in essentially a lens flare that looks like the sun going down, which the sun was going down, but I didn't happen to catch the sun above the horizon in this particular shot. So I'm going to press OK on that, and I'm going to render the lens flare onto this black layer. So if I press OK there, so there's our lens flare rendered. And I can blend that into our image. Because it's mostly black layer, remember we've got the darkening adjustment, the darkening blending modes and the lightning blending modes. So it's going to be a lightning blending mode that we need to use, and in this case it's going to be screen. So if I screen that in, you can see what it does. It's going to give our lens flare drop our lens flare onto the image here. Now it's not lined up where I want it, so I'm going to just grab the move tool, which is the V key on your keyboard, and I'm going to drag this until it's where I want it, and I'm going to zoom in so that I can place that right on the horizon. I want it to look like the sun is just going down over the horizon. That's going to give us a little bit of an issue up here, so we're going to need to just grab the eraser tool and just sort that top edge out, and we'll just blend that in a little bit as well. So that's not too bad, and I quite like where this part of the lens flare here is happening. It's sort of nicely nestled in the corner there, and that's looking pretty good there as well. The only thing I think I would do is just I like how bright the lens flare is here down in the bottom left corner. I think it's a little bit too bright up here. I did deliberately make it brighter. You saw me do that in the filter there. I did that because I knew that if I didn't, this bit down here would be almost too hard to see. So I've made it brighter with the intention now of adding a layer mask to this. So I click the little black square with the white circle on it. That adds a layer mask to the layer we're on. And I can now use the graduation tool, which is the G key on your keyboard, or you can find the graduation tool over here, and I'm going to use a straight line graduation from white to black, and I'm actually going to choose, rather than white to black, I'm going to choose, I want it fully revealed down here, and I want it sort of 75% here. So I'm going to, let's do, this is foreground to background. So instead of black, I'm going to choose something, a very light grey. So now my graduation goes from white to light grey. Goes from white to light grey, and I'm going to click and drag vertically to draw that graduation onto the layer mask there. So that now, if I was to shift and turn that on and off, you can see what it's doing is it is diminishing the top part of that layer so that we back it off a little bit. And I think probably that grey is not quite light enough. Let's go even lighter and do it again and go like that. There we go. Just backs off that little bit of lens flare at the top there and keeps it lighter down here. You see what that's doing? Let's just zoom in a little bit. and you can see what that does. Just backs it off just a little shade. And I think that's a pretty good place for the image to stop. As I say, I know the lens flare filter is not a well-loved filter. It is looked down upon quite a lot because it does tend to get used in a way that looks very fake. And now that you know that this is a fake lens flare, I expect you're looking at this and going, oh, it looks so fake. Now, just get over yourself for a minute. This, I don't think most people pick this out straight away as a fake lens flare. An awful lot of people that saw the image when I first posted it last year asked me, but nobody went out and said, "Oh, it's a fake lens flare," right from the word go. So I think it's as good a use as you'll see of the lens flare. But most importantly, and this is the key, this is why I'm sitting here talking to you about it. It is a useful tool sometimes. In this case, I think that's the difference between that, which is a very pretty image but doesn't really have much in the way of a starting point for your eye, to that, which has a very, very strong starting point for your eye, has a lot more visual impact, and I think is just as a result a much more interesting and eye-catching image. It needed something else, this image, to me, and when I thought of the lens flare, and when I tried it, it really was the difference between talking to you about it on Photo Walkthrough and not ever letting anybody see it. So I think it's interesting and useful from that point of view. I'll leave you to make your own judgment about whether or not you'd like to do something like this in your own image, but I hope this has at least been a useful eye-opener on how I thought about this image and how things were done. Alright, I will catch you in the next Photo Walkthrough tutorial. See you then. Bye-bye. Okay, that's us done for another week, and that concludes tutorial 21. I hope you found that useful and interesting. Before we go, we've just got time to say thank you to our regular show sponsor, Mozy. Remember, as a photographer, your photos are priceless, particularly your family photos. Please do backups and don't lose them. And the best way to do your backups is to store them online, and that's what Mozy does. They've got a service that you can download the application, it installs on your computer, and it does the backups for you. You don't need to remember to do backups, you don't need to remember to put disks in drives or anything. It will just constantly keep track of what's being updated on your computer and constantly trickle that information up to the internet and keep it safe for you. Anytime you want to get anything back, you go to the Mozy website and you download what you've lost or what you want to get somewhere else, and it's all available online all the time. There's no limits to how much you can back up. It will back up anything that's on your internal hard drive, and it's absolutely automated. It means you'll never forget. There is no period where you've not done a backup for too long and something goes wrong. So please, what I'd like you to do is go to mozy.com and sign up for Mozy Home or Mozy Pro. If you want to sign up for Mozy Home, you can get a 15% discount as a Photo Walkthrough subscriber by using the promo code PHOTO. Or if you want to use the Pro package, you can also get a 15% discount on that one by using the promo code PHOTO15. Mozy is a great way to keep your photographs safe. Thanks to Mozy for supporting the show. Okay, we're all done for another week. Thank you very much for watching. I will catch up with you in the next episode. See you then.
Photo Walkthrough is a free online video show about photography and digital photo editing using Photoshop and Lightroom. Please help support the show by using our sponsors' promo codes or by passing the promo codes on to your friends. Join the Photo Walkthrough community, find all the old shows, and subscribe to the new ones for free at photowalkthrough.com.
photocastnetwork.com, your photography resource in the potosphere. photocastnetwork.com